Welcome, everyone, to the new episode of Dakota Boys Talk Movies. Today, we're going to do a little special episode, just talking about a couple different movies that had a certain appeal, or should I say lack of appeal, that was tied to them. Kind of same sides of the magnet. Seems like people almost were repulsed by these movies.
Yeah, for the movie I'm going to be talking about, I don't ever do this, but I was ecstatic from the get-go just because of who was directing it, and it's a foray into a universe I just really, really loved ever since I was a wee boy of 12. I think that's when I saw the original movie in this universe, but
Sure.
I know. Much younger than I should have, but it was on TNT, so it was cool.
You were fine. 12 is the new 20, right? So, yeah, okay. So Dakota's going to be talking about The Predator here first. And I think we'll just go ahead and jump right into that. As you were saying here, Dakota, you were really excited for this. I mean, you had now here's my first question for you. Was Shane Black a straight up co-writer of the first movie, or was he like a punch-up guy?
I think he was kind of just there. From what I've heard, he was put in the movie specifically so he could work on the script. I don't know exactly what.
Okay. They just wanted him kind of on set.
Yeah,
type thing.
I don't know. He was apparently in great shape.
And Shane Black, we should just preface, is the writer-director of The Predator, this new one. And what got a lot of people excited, including Dakota, would be the fact that he has ties back to the original, a.k.a. the greatest in the franchise. Still.
All right.
That's the preface, though. But, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm not sure where to begin with this movie. Because
just start with the beginning. So, where did they decide to pick this movie up? Where did it decide to begin?
It actually takes place now in the Predator timeline.
Like by now you're talking 2018.
Yeah,
but Predator timeline 2018.
I know.
So did the crappy future of 1992 like that counts then?
Yeah, that movie took place in 97
or 97, that's right. That was a future.
And they actually reference it. They reference that the Predator, as far as they know, has been here 2 times before. We know more. We know that there's obviously been more Predators throughout history. Just based by the end, based on the fact that, at the end of Predator 2, he threw like an old musket at Danny Glover and was like, "Get the hell out of here, kid." But in Predator. Anyway, I kind of had misgivings about this film because I saw some stills from the movie set, and it looked like they had a Predator on set kind of wearing like military fatigues.
Okay.
And it looked like he was helping these humans, and I'm like...
And so this fatigued you? I'm just kidding.
It raised some alarm bells in me.
A little ringy-dingy going on?
I was like,
okay.
This seems odd.
Now, how many months ago from the release was this? Like,
oh, this had to have been last year.
Okay. So you're like a year out, and you're starting to already get like, I'm just trying to...
Yeah, I was...
Okay.
My excitedness, if that's what you want to call it, for this movie slowly started to diminish. Like, maybe I should be worried. Maybe. But I was like, nah. It's Shane Black, man.
They got this. This
is be an R-rated movie like it should be.
When has Fox ever let me down before?
Yeah, I still maintained hope it was going to be decent. And then, oh, Lordy, the first trailer dropped. And I'm like, this doesn't seem right.
That first trailer did not. Yeah, that was definitely. I didn't see these stills you're talking about, but that was where my alarm bells went off because I was like, "What is even happening?" It was so confusing, and it's like, is this kid? What is he? What is this kid? It was very, very strange.
Oh, don't worry. In the movie, I've said that a few times. Like, what is going on with this kid?
While you're watching the movie? Oh,
yes.
no. Oh,
yes.
no.
Back to him later.
Okay, yeah.
There's more stuff to deal with him.
Put a pin in that. We'll put a pin in that.
Okay, so finally the movie came out, and my girlfriend felt that the movie was going to be too scary for her. This is a woman that went to go see It. I don't know why she was afraid of the Predator.
He has a weird face. Oh wait, so does Pennywise.
Yeah. But I was like, it's going to be more gory than It, but I wouldn't say it's going to be scarier. I mean, anyone should know that. But so I had to go alone.
I don't know if my wife would.
So I went to the movie alone, and oh boy, let me tell you, the movie started off really well.
Okay.
It starts off with these two Predator ships in space. They're fighting it out. One of them kind of goes through a black hole, arrives at Earth, then crash lands in Mexico or Mexico for my friends from down south. It happens to crash at this site where this kind of hostage rescue team is trying to do their thing. This like a cloak and dagger type thing. The team is led by Boyd Holbrook's character Quinn. Stuff goes down. Situation's kind of resolved. They find the ship. Predator attack starts killing Quinn's men.
So they tried to give it even an original Predator feel, where it's like guys are on a mission, stumble on an alien.
Yeah, I was
okay.
I was actually going into this thing at this point. I'm like, I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah. That's not a bad way to go. I mean, come on, it worked for the first one.
I'm optimistic at this point.
Sure.
Anyway, Quinn's men are obviously come in contact with Predator. Predator then kills them. Quinn escapes with the helmet and some of the other Predator stuff. Government agents show up, capture the Predator. So far this movie's chugging along, and I'm digging it. I'm liking it. It's piqued my interest. You find out that I'm drawing a blank when trying to. I saw this like a couple weeks ago, folks. I'm trying to remember the government agency's name. It's essentially the same one that we saw in Predator 2, however, and I could say that because Jake Busey, son of Gary Busey, has a cameo in this, and he's playing a character named Sean Keyes. Well, Gary Busey's character in Predator 2 was, I don't remember his first name, but it was Keyes.
It was Keyes. I do remember that. Oh my gosh. Why? Why did
so that's a nod, and it's such a pointless nod. So it's like he's not even really in there.
Why even was remind us of the crazy man Gary Busey by putting in his crazy son Jacob Busey,
and he dies anyway. So
oh
it was
gosh.
like so just ridiculous. Anyway, back to the story.
Well, technically that is the story. Rabbit trail story.
Quinn finds some way to get this Predator stuff mailed to a P.O. box. He also then turns around and gets captured by this government agency. One of the things that I really like about kind of the actors in this movie, Sterling K. Brown is heading up the government agency.
Oh, okay.
And he's actually doing a really good job.
Yeah.
Like he's kind of that. He's full of swagger and just like.
Yeah, he's a good actor. He had a small part in Black Panther where you kind of wish like, man, I wish he would have had more of a part. He's one of those guys where it seems like whenever you see him on screen, he's like memorable.
Yeah, this isn't your smoking man, government man. This guy's like full of braggadocio and like, yeah, we got this Predator here. Well, it's a big game hunter, someone says. Like, yeah, Predator's cooler. And you're just like, yeah, it is cooler. Anyway.
Explain why it's called a Predator.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. That's what we love in movies. That'll be when we get to my movie. Why over-explanation of everything isn't always a good thing.
Anyway, this is where the story starts to get a little weird.
Okay.
You're introduced to...
a lot of characters.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
The first half is intro.
You really hit it on the head. You're introduced to Olivia Munn's character, who's a scientist named Casey.
Okay.
Dr.
Is that her
Casey.
first name?
Dr.
Last
Casey.
name. Okay.
Anyway, she comes on the scene. Eventually, however, things go sideways. This Predator escapes. and it kind of massacres everyone that's basically holding it. Meanwhile, on the kind of other side of this, you find out that Quinn, you find out things didn't really pan out.
So there's a Casey, Quinn, and a Keys? There's a lot of cuz in this.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. But anyway, you find out Quinn's package with the alien gear, I don't know what you want to, the alien swag, that he got sent to his post office box. Apparently he didn't pay his post office box due, so he sent it to his house with his son. And his son, like, kind of...
That's the government for you.
And his son, of course, is like, "Oh, this is my dad's stuff, therefore it's my stuff." So he opens the box, starts tinkering around with the toys and everything.
Toys.
Well, he treats them like toys. I'm going to kind of interject something in here. It's implied, well, not implied, but basically stated that this kid is kind of like on a level of autism that's...
Are you kidding me? Another gifted...
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, it gets better. It gets better.
No.
Just
when is that trope going to end? Like, my kid's autistic, therefore he can do anything and reads things or whatever.
Okay.
Figure out puzzles.
Pipe down, man, because it gets much worse.
Oh, no.
It gets much worse. Anyway, what happens is Quinn, the father, the lead, eventually kind of gets scapegoated for what happens in Mexico. He gets blamed for butchering his crew, and he's thrown in with this group of crazy soldiers called the Loonies.
Oh boy,
and
crazy soldiers too. Another great trope.
Yeah. And I think
we've been at war so long, we're crazy.
I think if they had kind of focused this down, that they could have saved this movie by just focusing on these guys.
Wait, are these crazy soldiers? Is this like the Keegan-Michael Key guys?
This is,
okay, I remember them from the trailer.
These are the guys who look like G.I. Joes. You know, they got the fatigues, but they don't look like they're regular army, you know?
Sure.
Yeah. Anyway, Predator goes crazy. He's butchering people. Spares Olivia Munn's character because she's naked and unarmed, and the Predator was just like, oh, a woman. Yeah.
Weak.
Yeah, he's come here for big game kills, people. He didn't come for the does.
Although you do see him take a quick picture. Is that what happens?
Anyway, here's where the kind of references get a little out of hand. While the Predator, after he escapes, he kind of smashes this display case where the government's keeping these other alien artifacts, including a helmet, shoulder cannon, and the spear from Alien vs. Predator. Yeah. Yes.
No.
They had to throw that in there.
Why is he referencing things that just he's choosing to reference things that left bad tastes in people's mouths.
I don't know, man.
That's so strange. That's so strange.
I don't know, but anyway. So, anyway, you find out this was a nice little kind of add. The one of the few nice things they added into this universe. Basically, when the Predator puts on the helmet, he is then able to see out of his original helmet. And he sees that the sun, I believe.
What, you mean like it connects to another helmet?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's basically like, you know, he got like
he's in the Predator network.
Yeah.
The PN.
He's in the cloud, man. The Predator cloud.
The Predator cloud. PC.
But anyway, the kid Rory, in the meantime, he obviously has this gear, and I'm just gonna throw this out there. There's this scene where he's walking around with this Predator, you know, kind of stuff on him.
Like the kid's got it on. Okay,
yeah.
So it's dragging behind him because the Predator's like 8 feet tall.
But anyway, these bullies show up, and he destroys the side of a house and kills a man.
Oh, my gosh. Wait, the kid kills someone?
Yeah. But anyway.
Wait, we can't just brush over this. Oh, my gosh.
Quinn with the Loonies, they meet up with Casey, and they kind of cripple the Predator, take him basically, they managed to escape, and they're like, okay, we got to go find my son.
What is going on? What is happening? Like, what? What's the journey? What journey are we on right now? It's like
It gets better. It gets better. So they go. They find the son. He's decked out in alien or predator apparel. They get the stuff, and basically what they're the predator is also hunting them because apparently they're trying to find the ship that this alien came on because he had a gift for humanity. This is where things go sideways.
Oh, this is where things go sideways. Not when the kid is blowing up houses and killing people.
You find out that the predator that has been on Earth this whole time doing this stuff, he was actually fleeing from, I think, what's referenced as the ultimate predator, and that's the giant. I think it's supposed to be like 12
the
feet.
one they spoiled in the trailer, where there's a huge one. Yeah,
rips him out of the building and And he's not alone. He's brought his predator hounds with him.
Oh, there's the nod to Predators, where there's the dog things.
Yeah, and they look like pit bulls, giant pit bulls with the predator face, though.
Do they look like? So they don't look like the ones in Predators?
No, they look completely different.
Okay.
And it's...
Does one of them have Danny Trejo's head?
No. Things get pretty crazy. The story kind of delves into, we got to find this ship. You got to find this gift.
Yeah. So because what? Okay, that's what I'm trying to understand here. What are the soldiers doing? Just trying to stop the predator. He escaped.
The loonies are kind of trying to stay alive because it's the loonies, Quinn, Dr. Casey, and the kid.
Okay,
they're all together.
Okay.
Then you got the predator who's hunting them.
So they're in a city.
No, they're basically out in the middle of nowhere.
They're in the middle of nowhere because his facility.
Yeah.
Was out.
And there's actually a few references to kind of other things here. There's, I think, one of the schools is like Lawrence Gordon School, home of the Warriors. For those that know who Lawrence Gordon is, he was like this producer, and one of the movies he worked on was The Warriors.
Yeah, even into the 90s, he was a pretty big producer. I don't know. I can't really think of if he's probably still doing movies. You just don't hear. He used to be like a big deal through that time, but
yeah, they kind of just keep things rolling.
Joel Silver University.
But anyway, there's just too much going on with this movie. I don't know how to break it down for you because you got the Looney Crew with all those people. You got the I don't know what you want to call it, just the old school predator. You got the ultimate predator. Then you got the government agents.
Here's a question I have. Okay, so when I saw the second trailer, the one that kind of helped it seem like maybe there was something there, Thomas Jane was randomly just showed up.
Yeah.
Is he one of the loony soldiers?
Yes, he is.
Now, is his career falling apart? Because he used to be I hate to say star. They tried that with Deep Blue Sea. We kind of realized he wasn't a star, but usually he's an upper shelf co-star. But he's so flash in the trailer. Is he another Jake Busey cameo thing, or is he a red shirt just dies or something?
No, he's got some screen time in the movie.
Okay.
He's
he's not the greatest actor in the world. I get that, but he's still people know him. Is what I'm getting at.
Yeah. The only thing I equate him to is Telly Savalas and great the Dirty Dozen.
Okay.
He was in it. Not a big part of it, but he was in it.
But he was kind of memorable when he was there. Okay.
Yeah. Also a military unit, just so that's why I threw that out there. Good Lord. And this kind of all comes to a head where you got the loonies, the government guys have this standoff. Oh, the original Predator gets killed, by the way.
Wait, but didn't Arnold already kill him?
Oh, man, it's so complicated. I don't know how to explain it. Anyway, the ultimate predator shows up, starts killing everybody. And, yeah, it kind of... then things get even more interesting.
So what do you feel is the point of this?
Hold on, I'm not done.
Oh, okay.
You find out that these predators, they basically are going planet to planet, finding the strongest life forms, adding their DNA to themselves. There's actually a scene in the lab that they bring up that the predator that they have captured has human DNA. And then, of course...
The predators are taking the ultimate predator's DNA, putting it in them?
No, the regular predators have human DNA in them.
Oh, okay.
And that's because they're adding DNA to themselves to make themselves stronger. And the ultimate predator is like basically the regular predator on steroids.
There's a lot happening here.
Oh, it gets better, man. It gets better. The predator references that the kid with autism is actually the most dangerous person out of all these people, and he takes him, and the idea is like he's gonna put his DNA in him, and thereby become stronger.
Okay.
Yes, this movie's got a lot going on, man.
Oh man.
But
didn't we learn anything from Jurassic Park?
Yeah, I don't know what this kick is where they have genetically modifying things, people, aliens, and the movie kind of comes to a head. It's not very memorable, exciting, thrilling. It just happens. But it ends on such a great cliffhanger, everybody.
Oh, well, there we go. And there's our cliffhanger for a sequel that probably won't or shouldn't happen.
Yeah, I'm just going to tell you guys what it is because it's not worth watching this movie.
If you don't say Adrian Brody shows up, I don't care.
No, Danny Glover shows up at the end, everybody.
Oh, that'd be even
kidding.
better.
I'm
He's
kidding.
like, oh, we got to get them predators, but I'm getting too old for this.
I'm kidding. You find out that apparently these predators are actually going to invade Earth. And this predator, the original one that landed on Earth...
One could argue they already have invaded Earth.
Well, they're going to take it over and kill us all.
Oh, sure.
You find out the original one that landed on this planet, even though he was brutally murdering everyone he came across, he was here to help us, guys, because he brought us this gift. And this gift was a gorgeous set of Predator power armor. What do I mean by that? Take the look of the Predator, mix in Iron Man's suit, and you got basically what happens at the end of the movie.
And this gift was to help them fight off
the ultimate predators that were on their way to basically just kill everybody.
So the next one was basically going to be what the sequel to Independence Day Resurgence was going to be, but won't happen, where it's like, now we can take the fight to them.
I guess. I don't know how this one suit of power armor was somehow supposed to...
Well, and again, Arnold killed one with, like, booby traps. Oh,
no, that was a regular predator.
Oh, that's true. It was a regular predator. Oh, my gosh.
But this movie has...
Okay, what I've been realizing, the more convoluted you wait, it made me realize maybe the reason the first one is still the best is because it's like a one-sentence plot. It's like muscly army guys on a mission in the jungle run across something weird.
Oh, it's
and then the rest happens.
All right, it's time to be real here, people. I think Shane Black just did a giant mountain of cocaine, wrote all these ideas down on a chalkboard.
Do you think he could have wrote this in the 80s? And like it was still from the cocaine days of the 80s?
Wrote all these ideas down on a chalkboard, whiteboard, whatever, and then's like, we're going to do all of them.
Why make this over 10 movies when I can do it all in one movie?
There's so many just... There's a guy... This movie kind of, obviously, like I said, autism apparently is the next evolution of human beings. That's why supposedly this kid was so dangerous.
I say this with all due respect, but autism is considered a disability, right?
Well, it's not in this movie, man. Apparently, Arnold Schwarzenegger must have been autistic, man, because...
Yeah, that's, again, it's just very confusing.
Oh, there's so many other themes. God, what was I saying? The fact that this predator was here to help us, he's here to help us, and he just massacres people. Waves upon waves of people.
Well, I mean, the kid killed someone too. I mean, we brushed over this. That we have whatever, how old Jacob Tremblay is supposed to be, 8.
one of the predator hounds gets injured, and then it becomes loyal to the humans.
Well,
Yeah.
it's like the it's kind of that Stockholm syndrome. They care for it. It's like, you know what, you're not that bad.
Yeah, it makes. And then there's Olivia Munn's character. She's supposed to be a scientist, but she's also really handy with the machine gun,
and she looks good.
And yeah, she's just this kick-ass, awesome person,
brainiac hottie.
And it's just like,
man.
There was way too many ideas that got thrown into this movie, and nobody. Maybe Fox is like, hey, we're not even going to be a thing in a year, so you just crank that up to 15.
Man, now I can't decide if I'm excited or even more worried for Dark Phoenix. Because maybe if that's just a coke trip, that could be fun. Oh, wow. Well, that was The Predator. What do you think, Dakota? Should people see this? Is there any, is the action even good?
Oh, this is, you know what I don't get? This movie is so well made. The visuals,
like the way
gorgeous.
It looks.
The actors, the talent in this movie is just so strong. And the story, just garbage upon garbage.
Are we learning that maybe Shane Black isn't quite the guy who should be head of the ship, because Iron Man 3
I think
was kind of a little bit of a mess. Actually, was a lot of a mess.
You know what?
Depending on how you look at it, I guess.
I'm starting to think he has the same problem Zack Snyder is. He should be the guy that executes the vision. He shouldn't be the guy coming up with the vision and then executing it.
I guess a lot of people's counter arguments that would be is, well, The Nice Guys was a hit and people liked that, or we liked that.
Well, we love 300. We loved it, man. It got us every time we saw that trailer.
But then there was Sucker Punch.
Yeah,
that was the one that was fully Zack Snyder's idea.
And then there was Iron Man 3.
Yeah, that's true. It's
just, maybe some directors are better just executing someone else's vision.
That's true. They're storytellers, but storytellers of other people's stories.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's all I can say. I mean, it bums me out because I think this is the last chance they had to truly do a Predator movie that had the heart of the original.
It kind of goes back to when we talked about Alien Covenant. It's like,
oh god,
it seems like there's this good, nice, big, beautiful sandbox to play in and mess with, but maybe it's just a bad idea to mess with the sandbox. Because I think what we've been finding on the past couple Alien movies, which would be in a lot of ways same side or flip side of the same coin, and they've even crossed over in a few movies, is you think there's this big thing to play with, but maybe it just ends up wrecking what is good and sacred in that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. It's very puzzling. Well, there you go, The Predator, so don't see it. Is that what you're saying?
You can if you want, man, but it's going to be one of those things where as soon as you see it,
you're going to hate yourself.
Yeah.
All right, well, on that note, we're going to talk about something a little more lighthearted.
But no less controversial.
And I am using lighthearted, maybe a little sarcastically, because this movie's very dark.
Visually or thematically?
Visually and just blah. Maybe it's more blah. Maybe it's visually dark and just kind of blah everywhere else. It's Solo, a Star Wars movie. A movie that I don't think anybody by the time it was released was expecting it to be good at all. The Predator, there were still some people walking in with some hope. But no one was walking into Solo with even a new hope. Oh, would you like that?
Oh, look at
there
you
was
there.
just it was just, I went basically because I was like, I kept seeing little shimmers in these trailers and I'm like, is there something there? Is there something there? And so I gave it a shot. Dakota didn't. I gave it a shot. Just kind of like Dakota gave The Predator a shot and I didn't. And I have to say that Solo was fine. It was not, I don't even know, I wouldn't call it good.
Oh, okay.
And I definitely wouldn't call it great. I would call it good. It was just kind of, it was fine. It was a movie. I feel like what it was I feel like it's how a lot of people describe Force Awakens, but I feel like this was even, you could even make more of a case how this one was a fan film. Because at least there was original parts in Force Awakens.
Okay.
Whereas Solo, everybody's just recast. Well, except for a surprise twist at the end. I guess it was the original actor.
Oh, really?
But it was just, it was almost like one of those movies where you go on YouTube and it's like some fan made movie like that Power Rangers James Vanderbeek thing where it's
God.
what if Power Rangers were gritty? And that's how this was, where it was like, but at the same time it was like, but I kind of wanted to see where they were going to go with this. Like, I didn't want to just be like, you recast Harrison Ford. Yeah. It's like, okay, well, let's see. Maybe there is something to play with here. There isn't. There wasn't anything to play with. They ended up just doing origin stories. I feel like this was not an origin story for Han Solo as much as it was an origin story for the Millennium Falcon. We learned why it has the notch in the front, why it had bad language to C-3PO in A New Hope, because apparently a robot's essence was put into the Millennium Falcon's computer system, which is why the Millennium Falcon basically has a personality all its own, even though it only can speak to other droids by the time New Hope rolls around.
I was actually somebody explained that to me, and it sounds horrible because the robot's personality was like, we're not slaves, we're individuals,
and yeah, she's like a feminist like a feminist droid, but like for droid liberation, and then she ends up becoming part of the Millennium Falcon, which okay, and even the Kessel Run, which was a cool sequence. But it's kind of like, I think what we all pictured in our heads was a lot better than what they tried to do in this movie still. Because even though it was a cool sequence, it was more like, I don't like that that's now the tainted image I have of the Kessel Run in my head. Because in your mind you have the like, Han Solo just daring dude this Kessel Run on a mission. Whereas in this movie it's like, he's barely a pilot at the point he's doing this famous Kessel Run. And it's all just like accidents and coincidence. I mean, it's all just very strange. But at the same time, I think part of me wishes like maybe the Kessel Run shouldn't have been in it. And they should have just just done like real early Han Solo stuff and stuff like that. Because there were some fun elements there, where he got connected with these banded pirate people, and then that's kind of where he becomes a pirate, because him trying to be a pilot in the military isn't working out too well, so he kind of takes this pirate route, and you kind of see, I don't know, he gets his blaster. We don't learn about his vest. I don't know, it's almost like, that's the thing, it's like Han Solo is known by the clothes he wears, and so it's like
he wasn't just walking by a clothing store. And
the dumbest thing is something that probably everybody's already talked way too much about, but I'll just throw it in there because it truly is the dumbest thing.
Are you talking about how he got his name?
How he got his last name. That truly was probably the just stupidest thing I've ever... And the whole time it's happening, you're like, he's not going to say Solo. He's not going to say Solo. That's going to be dumb if he says Solo. And then they have the guy... He doesn't just say Solo. He acts like he's all clever about it. Where he's like, Solo! Or something. Where it's like, it's a good thing like Han Solo didn't have like a zit on his face. It'd be like, pimple face. You will be Han Pimple Face.
I actually watched that scene on YouTube when this movie came out, its opening weekend. And I was like, this is a great opportunity. Because when they do the Boba Fett movie, he should join the Empire. And the guy, they should use the same guy. And he's like, let's go with Bob A. Feets. And he's like, yes.
Just have this guy just just start popping up in every origin movie. Oh, that'd be great. Like, Obi-Wan would already have like a name, but yeah, just go back into a Skywalker. By the way, that would have been the last name he picked for Superman because he can fly. Skywalker.
IG-88 would have became a service droid and been like, Ig BB. There you go, man.
It was just so weird. And I heard somebody point out, this isn't original to me. I heard somebody point out how it's kind of silly that the Empire would even worry about last names when they're all about numbers. Yeah. And when I heard that person say that, I think it was, I should probably give credit here. Dan Murrell, maybe, on Screen Junkies, I think was the one who said it, where he's like, why would the Empire even be worrying about, like, you need a last name and a people when they're all about numbers? And after he said that, I'm like, yeah, that kind of does make sense. That does make sense. Why would they? Wouldn't you just be like, how about your Han 32, or something, or whatever they would have come up with. Anyway, so, and I think that was the scene where it was like, you know how sometimes when there's bad movies, you kind of give it a little bit of liberties because maybe you still had fun?
Yeah.
But there was enough scenes like that where it was just so distractingly stupid that it kept pulling you out from any of the fun you could have been having. Because honestly, the train heist scene, that was all cool, even though they killed off a few characters in that scene that were fun and would have been fun to do more with. R.I.P. Tandy Newton. It would have been fun to do more with them, but they were gone. And so any of those scenes you thought were fun, though, you just kept getting distracted by these stupid ideas. And you're like, and I was sitting there thinking, like, I bet that freaking Solo scene was some stupid reshoot Ron Howard did. It's all you think about is like, oh god. This was different than Justice League, though, where I was having trouble figuring out what were reshoots and what weren't. Justice League you always knew based on Henry Cavill's lip. Like, did he have a stupid upper lip? Reshoot. Had to get rid of that mustache. Oh man. I don't even know what to say about Solo. Things happened, and things didn't happen the way you probably wanted them to go. And then at the end, it's just like, and that's how he got them. But you could tell that they meant to set this up for more Solo movies, because at the end, he really still doesn't have the Millennium Falcon. Lando takes off with it, and you learn why he struggles with love, because he got hurt by the woman in this movie who kind of betrayed. But at the same time, he doesn't seem to struggle with love, because you can always tell that Leia wants to like him, but just can't. And so, I mean, these were all just questions that we really didn't totally need answers to. They should have just worried about maybe more like telling a fun story instead of worrying about. And maybe that is what they were doing. It was just bad execution. I don't know. I think at the end of the day, it would have just been like, why didn't they just let Lord and Miller do this?
Yeah,
and because then now it just ends up being a splotch on Ron Howard's very splotchy record. I'm not. Ron Howard has made a lot of terrible movies, and I just feel bad that this just gets added to his list when Lord and Miller probably could have ricocheted a little better.
Yeah,
and they could have, and it might have been more fun because I mean, the reason Lord and Miller got kicked off was like, it's too funny. Like you just heard that the reason they got kicked off was that there was 2 lacks on the set, and people were frustrated with the lacks just having fun, and it's like, oh, that had to have been better than what this ended up being, at the end of the day. And again, it wasn't bad. It just wasn't good. It just kind of was there, and you forget about it. So I don't know.
Yeah, I really feel like this movie was kind of made, like they put an emphasis on this just because of how dark The Last Jedi was. I feel like that's why they tried to make it so much fun, and
maybe
let's not have it so scary. Even though I heard Chewbacca's apparently eating people in this movie.
They imply that he does. How they Han Solo and Chewie have a meet cute.
Oh.
Not really. Han Solo gets thrown down into this jail. We're like, we'll let the beast down there eat you, and they throw him into this mud pit. And then it's actually, I thought that was a scene that worked. The intro to Chewie, because then all of a sudden out of this corner, like this muddy monster comes out, and it's Chewie, and he's just like losing his mind. Honestly, you want to talk about the best part of this movie? A lot of people are like, oh, what's his face playing Lando? Donald Glover playing Lando. No, the funny thing about Lando is how they had him have a closet just full of capes, which was kind of funny actually. That they were just like, let's remember this cape thing. The highlight of this movie was Chewbacca. He's the best thing in this movie because he just goes crazy. He is a wrecking machine. He's just like beating, like just the way that Chewie fights and shoots this movie. It's like you can tell it's no longer a hobbly old man playing Chewbacca, like Peter,
Peter Mayhew.
Yeah, I almost said Peter Dinklage. That would be the opposite. Oh my gosh, Peter Dinklage is Chewbacca. It'd be like the Furby Chewbacca. Wow. Anyway, you can tell there's just like a younger guy playing Chewbacca now because he is just like athletic and agile. So it's kind of fun seeing Chewie like that. But honestly, the weakest character in this movie was Han Solo, and it wasn't Alden, however you say his last name's fault. Aaron Wright. It wasn't his fault. He was fine. Everything around him that he had to do was stupid, but he was fine. What he did was fine. I would compare it to Chris Pine playing the iconic Kirk, where it's like, there's nothing wrong with what he's doing. He's doing his best. He's doing a lot of good stuff here. And in a way, he's making it his own. It's just that there's nothing for him to do it's very interesting. So, Solo.
Well, there you have it, folks. The movie that killed all the other Star Wars movies.
The movie that, and honestly, I think they shouldn't have put this out. I think they should have waited because I think people were still trying to understand The Last Jedi and how they felt about it. And then all of a sudden it's like, Solo! And it's like, that probably didn't help the box office either.
Yeah.
That it was just so soon after Last Jedi when everybody was still like churning about their feelings on that movie.
I feel like if this movie had just, I don't know, they had tried to make a simple storyline, maybe it would have gone better.
Maybe. Yeah, and also I think people would have been more forgiving if maybe they would have saved this as like a Disney streaming service movie. Where it wouldn't have gone to the theaters, and they're like, you know what if we just made this like one of the launch movies for the streaming service? Be like, oh, whatever. But the fact that, I don't know, it just, here it is. And there you have it.
So, kind of to end this, should we rate these movies?
There's no real way to rate them. Well, there's no way you can rate I don't know what to rate mine.
We can't go thumbs up, thumbs down. I mean,
if you want to go on a scale of 1 to 10 with mine, I guess 5. It's just like a middle movie.
Oh man, see what I still can't wrap my head around was the Predator was just so well made.
Sure, yeah.
It's like,
I know, and that's where these are the hardest movies to rate because, well, maybe not yours. I don't know. Well, maybe because of the fact that you think it looks good.
Yeah, it was.
Because it's like,
it was still objectively bad.
Right. Where you have this movie where it's like, okay, I know I didn't just watch the worst movie in the world, but I certainly didn't watch a good movie. And they're the hardest ones to know what to do with.
Here's the problem with that. There's been too many of those. Ocean's 8. Oh my gosh.
Sure. Didn't see it.
Ocean's 8 was, for me, a marathon, man. And it was so well made, so well acted. It's just I couldn't care about any of these damn people.
Sure. Yeah. Did it take too much out of the Ocean's 11 playbook and it just kind of made it just too run-of-the-mill?
Well, I thought it was going to be
we're talking about Ocean's 8. What just happened?
Oh, man, we're going to put our stamp on Ocean's 8. I will say this. It was just kind of boring. I didn't care for anyone in particular.
Sure.
I found really some of these characters just be obnoxious. And I was hoping like the original Ocean's crew would just come out in the end and just massacre them machine gun style and take all the loot. Like,
wow. What if Jacob Tremblay just came in and blew them all up with his shoulder cannon that he's wearing? Well, this combined franchise.
All right, man.
Shane Black's like, yeah, that sounds good. Put it on the chalkboard.
It was just, there's been too many, and these are big budget movies with so much talent behind them, and it all like the fault in it would be the writing process in the very beginning. it's like nothing. The costume people, the makeup people, the editor, the choreographer. You can fault the director, obviously, of each one of the movies
Sure.
we just talked about,
Yeah.
but ultimately, it's just like the writing of it. Like they should have narrowed the margins. What were they trying?
Does this now coming into fall, winter here? There's a lot of anticipated movies. Some that could end up getting pretty convoluted. I'm looking at You Crimes of Grindelwald.
Oh my gosh!
Does it make you worried for movies like that, where I think there's a lot of good things there, and I think they could do something really great with it? But could J.K. Rowling end up Pandora's boxing these movies too much, where there's so much going on because she's trying to lead it all into this wizarding world?
Yeah, I mean, I'm already worried about that. As soon as I wasn't outraged about the whole thing with Nagini like a lot of people were. For those of you who are like, what the hell are you talking about? You find out Nagini was a human
before it became the snake. I did just catch that earlier this week,
and
something.
people are outraged because she's played by a Korean woman, and people are saying that that's racist. Aquaman,
it's racist to hire people that are minorities for movies.
Well,
racism.
There's that old kind of stereotype that Asians are snakes.
Oh, I'm not familiar with that stereotype. I'm not racist enough to know these stereotypes.
I feel like that's really fallen out of like offending people by calling them rednecks now is not really a thing, I guess, because they've owned it. Or
but have Asians owned snakes? I've never heard this before. Oh crap! I just said it. That soundbite might end up being a racist thing that somebody takes out of context.
I'm worried about that, even though I was really stoked for it. The trailers for it have just been really phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm excited about this whole young Dumbledore thing with Jude Law. I think they're like, it's nice to see Jude Law doing something interesting. I don't know. He's done so much blah stuff, and I think he's a good actor.
Yeah.
So
but
yeah,
it looks like a really well made movie.
Yeah, that's why I brought that one up specifically, because it looks like it's going to be well done. You know, even setting aside feelings about Johnny Depp, you know. But yeah, it does make you start wondering. Oh my gosh, we're having all these other movies where it's like you have this amazing world. Ugh.
I think the only thing
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, could that be another one where they end up going too far with it, where it ends up just hurting the movie? Maybe not, because that one's going to be a silly one anyway.
Yeah, that one, I think they're kind of aiming that more for kids.
Right, yeah.
The thing about Ocean's 8, Predator, these are all supposed to, I guess, Crimes of Grindelwald, these are all supposed to be like kind of new franchises, but set in these old worlds.
Yeah.
And I think the real problem might be is they didn't go the route that they went with Halloween. Halloween was like, okay, what are we going to do here? We're going to pay homage to the original. And I know we haven't seen the movie yet, but there's reviews out already. People have talked about it.
It's been shown at festivals, or a festival.
And apparently they just kept the story very simple. Michael Myers escapes from the asylum, goes after Laurie Strode. Wow. He's not like some voodoo.
He
enhanced.
ends up eating something off a sewer grate that had a curse on it, and he becomes, I see what you're saying.
He's not like the Antichrist this time.
And then people come in who happen to be, I see what you're saying. Like, they didn't just go crazy with all these. Because that's the thing when you're talking about the Predator, it's like, you're introducing more people? What is even going on with these other people? Oh, my goodness. Yeah, interesting. Well, after that rabbit trail, it's just maybe tell us how you feel about some of these franchises that are figuring out creative ways to carry on their franchises, and ones maybe you think that we haven't brought up or we're forgetting about, where you're like, well, no, what about this worked, where they kind of soft rebooted or prequeled and things like that. So let us know in comments, and where you can do that is on our Facebook page, Dakota Boys Talk Movies. That's the one we really push the most. We try to do things more on and use that one to really just get things out there. So find us on Facebook. And then we hope that if you're liking us and wanting to know when new content is coming out, that you'll subscribe to us, whether where we put it on YouTube, Again, we're at Dakota Boys Talk Movies on YouTube or on iTunes or any of those other podcast places. We're there. You can yell at your Alexa, to play us, and you should be able to even find her on there because I've tested that out. And so, yeah, just anywhere. We hope you're doing that. And we had a lot of fun making this episode. This is a lot of fun. And you could even use those places to give us ideas for things you would like us to do. And then we could tailor it to the people who are actually listening. So, yeah, we appreciate you checking out this episode and following along on these random trails we went on. So this is Steven.
This is Dakota.
Take it easy.